Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm Alex Maragos.
And I'm Marion Brooks. And we begin here at 4 o'clock with our weather. An early morning ground stop at O'Hare and Midway really kind of turned into an all-day issue. There have been more than 300 cancellations today. The average delay has been about a half hour. We'll take you to O'Hare in just a second.
First, we're going to get a check on our forecast with Storm Team meteorologist Aisha Scott to see if there's any lingering concerns after that ground stop this morning. Aisha?
It is so messy out there right now. You can even look behind you. We've got a mixture of some light snow and even some light freezing drizzle. So that will be the concern as we go through the rest of the evening. I want to show you what's going on here on Pinpoint Radar because we've got this band of lake effect snow. But what's been happening and what's pretty unusual with lake effect snow is that we've got higher up in the atmosphere, the temperature is a little bit above freezing. So some of this is actually transitioning over to rain and freezing at the surface. So you'll notice here as I zoom in a little bit closer, we've got this precip across eastern Cook County, pushing through the city of Chicago, even across southern Cook County and far northern parts of Will County. So again, this is a mixture of some light snow, but also a little bit of freezing drizzle is in that band as well. This will shift over northwest Indiana as we work our way through the evening and early nighttime. Here we are at 10 p.m. and then things will slowly wind down as we get into the early morning hours on Tuesday. But we could pick up additional accumulating snow here in northwest Indiana. We'll talk more about that coming up. The cold, it's sticking around for a while. I'll let you know what those temperatures look like going into the upcoming weekend coming up.
All right, thanks, Aisha. And it's not just the cold. Winter weather has a firm grip on the nation's midsection right now. Snow and ice stretches from Kansas to central Illinois all the way to the eastern seaboard. And it's also having a big impact at O'Hare and Midway today. Christian Farr is live at the big airport with more on how things are trying to get back to normal this afternoon. Christian.
Yeah, Alex, travelers are just trying to get back to normal. O'Hare still dealing with more than 100 cancellations and about 400 delays, having problems also at Midway as well. You can see this all unfolding on the flight boards. Some people stranded here until tomorrow, while others received a late Christmas miracle.
Looked up to see where what was going to be on time or not, and it said that bad word canceled.
Traveling in and out of O'Hare today has not been easy as the result of a major winter storm that is not only impacting the Midwest, but also other parts of the country.
I'm feeling ecstatic that they were able to help us, but we were conceding defeat at first.
Chris Rulland and his son John almost ended up on 2 different flights back to Kansas City, where that city is dealing with one of the largest single-day snowfalls, and that has had a huge impact on air travel. John's original layover could have stranded the college student in Denver.
It wouldn't have been so bad if I was able to get a flight the next morning or whatever, but that wasn't a guarantee, so I wouldn't know how long I was going to be stuck there.
We were saved by some scheduling miracle, but it did have us originally leaving yesterday, then it was bumped to today, then it got bumped to Wednesday. But they worked a miracle for us.
While the storm did cause a ground stoppage at O'Hare this morning, resulting in more than 100 cancellations and 2-hour-plus delays, in downstate Illinois, the storm dumped nearly 10 inches of snow, which created challenging travel conditions.
Yesterday, we just tried to keep up with the storm. Today's an opportunity for us to get the lanes into a much improved condition and a much safer condition for the traveling public.
Those traveling by car and by air today are doing their best to remain patient.
The man in front of us had to go back to Ghana for a wedding. It was his daughter's wedding. He's not going to miss it because of the cancellation. So, yeah, a lot of people with sadder stories than we have.
Yeah, Elmer Ewing and his family stranded here for one more day. You'll hear more from them coming up in our 6 o'clock newscast. And also Midway was having its share of problems, minor problems, nearly 20 cancellations and a little less than 100 delays at that airport. But again, still problems here from that ground stoppage this morning and, of course, bad weather throughout the country. Reporting live here at O'Hare, Christian Farr, NBC 5 News.
Christian, thanks. You just hate when there's nothing you can do.
That's
Those
right.
big moments sometimes. Well, if you want to get a real-time look at the forecast and live radar, we have that 24/7 at NBCChicago.com and our NBC Chicago app.
Good evening, I'm Allison Rosati.
I'm Stephen Holt. Thanks for joining us tonight. Winter weather really affecting much of the nation tonight, and for what Chicago is not getting the brunt of it.
But we are definitely in the deep freeze, and we will remain there. Downstate Decatur was buried by several inches of snow. In West Virginia, the ice and snow combined to make shoveling and driving extra difficult there. And the winter storm virtually shut down Washington, D.C. A massive snowball fight broke out. It was the largest snowstorm there in 3 years.
Not quite enough snow for a snowball fight here. Let's start our storm team coverage tonight with Brant Miller's here to start us off. The windshield scraper got a little bit of work out today.
Yeah, and we had that started off as ice pellets, and then it turned to some ice and then snow. It was like a sandwich of misery.
Yes, very slippery.
Yeah, be careful on some of the sidewalks, too, and untreated surfaces. Here's where we stand at this hour. The plume of lake effect snow has shifted eastward. You can see it across LaPorte County here and into Porter County. Eventually, it will slide farther to the east and shut off. So the lake effect machine starts to go away. Here's what the hour-by-hour stormcast is saying. You see that plume stays away from Chicago. Cloud cover sticks around tomorrow. Temperatures will drop into the middle teens. So there's no hope of this stuff thawing anytime soon. It looked like we could see some flurries on Wednesday. I'm going to pull that out of the forecast. Accumulating snow is possible toward Friday. When could it begin and how much could we expect? Could be the largest accumulation so far in the new year. We'll share that forecast coming up. Steph and Allison, back to you.
Thank you, Brant. Our team coverage on the cold and snow continues now as Chicago faced a ground stoppage at O'Hare and cancellations and delays at Midway. The cold and icy conditions continue to be a lingering problem for drivers and anybody who has to be outside. NBC5's Natalie Martinez with more on how this wintry mix is impacting you.
Too cold and icy for many people to bother driving much in Evanston and Skokie tonight. At Midway Airport, it was a slow go for the Marian Catholic High School girls basketball team tonight, but they are finally back from an event in Fort Lauderdale.
About an hour and a half wait until we got out of Florida because of Baltimore. Then when we got to Baltimore, we had to immediately get on to another. We didn't even have time to stop for anything. We had to get on to another plane, and then we sat on the terminal for probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
The Chicago Heights team, along with so many others here, delayed or experiencing cancellations due to weather.
It's been quite the trip.
I was a little worried, but once we got on board, everything was pretty smooth.
Ashley's armed with Chicago pizza, ready to wait out her half-hour delay back to New Orleans.
I got here this morning and there's snow everywhere. Took me about an hour to drive, about 20 minutes. I was driving so slow. I was that person. I'm sorry, guys. 20 degrees. Whether there's snow or not, I'm going to have many, many layers.
Reagan National Airport in Washington is closed tonight, and flights here canceled. An earlier ground stop at O'Hare caused more than 100 cancellations and hours-long delays. Nationwide, Southwest Airlines had the most cancellations, more than 400, and nearly 900 delays.
There was like a machine that came and like sprayed the entire plane, and there was a bunch of like smoke. It was kind of cool to see. But
from Waukegan to central Illinois and all the way to Chicago's icy lakefront. The snow and icy roads are sure to be a tricky challenge for commuters.
Yesterday, we just tried to keep up with the storm. Today's an opportunity for us to get the lanes into a much improved condition and a much safer condition for the traveling public.
And while there's not a lot of snow, what is here could create potential for a slippery commute in the morning. On the north side, Natalie Martinez, NBC5 News.
Okay, Natalie, thank you very much.